listening to Final Frontier News. From the furthest reaches of the universe to the innermost depths of the mind, this is Final Frontier News.
And right off the bat, I want to say thank you guys so much for being here and subscribing. It seems like a lot of people are like loving the channel and say they love this and they want us to do this more. If you want us to do this more and you want to support us, the best way is on our new Patreon. As you know, we only have about 1,000 subs right now, so we're going to work hard to try to get more subs and all that stuff, and the revenue's not very good on YouTube whatsoever, so we definitely will look for your support there. It's patreon.com/Final Frontier News. And that is a link in the description box down below where basically you can give $1 a month, and we get $1 every month. It's like you're paying for a subscription service, but you guys, it's really just you guys donating to us. So feel free to do that. But there's also all these rewards, too. You can pick topics that we should talk about. You can actually support with money where you could be on the show. You can do a Skype with us. There's even a spot to advertise on the show if you want to advertise your job, your money, your friend, your...
And one big thing that I want to mention is the resources that you get available, because as a Patreon, you get literally gigabytes worth of documentation, photographs, pictures, videos, and a ton more that have been accumulated on all the different topics that we have talked about on Final Frontier News.
Right. So it'll be pretty cool. It's kind of interactive, and it'll be a lot of fun. So if you want to step it up and do the $5, $10, $20, $30 tiers and those things, then you'll get a whole bunch of cool stuff. If you're someone out there who just really doesn't have much money, don't care about that extra stuff, but you want to help, then $1 a month does it. But we thank you for that. Again, it's patreon.com/Final Frontier News. You're probably going to hear a lot of YouTubers talking about this since the ad revenue is crashing through the floor. But to move on to sort of, I think, positive news would be to talk about this. Who sent this again, Dave? Do you remember? I didn't write his name down again.
Trailbound
sent. Yeah, he DM'd me this on Twitter. I sent it to Dave as well. We were going to talk about a lot of different things today, but this is what we picked just because it's hot. As he said, hot off the press, he said in the DM. It's a new super Earth, maybe best yet for finding signs of life. And what I get out of this article that surprises me is how much they're identifying or supposedly identifying atmosphere on some of these planets that they're finding. And this is post, we talked about TRAPPIST before. It was a couple videos back. TRAPPIST was a big story everywhere. And so this is post-TRAPPIST. This is not even TRAPPIST. This is a whole new thing. Because I was reading this article thinking, oh no, this is just TRAPPIST again. But they always find a way to reword the articles so they can keep making news about planet found. But no, this is a new planet. And then I look down and I see there are several other planets that they found with similar type atmospheres, that potential for life. Obviously, you know, when we get there and find out what's really going on, it'll be a whole different story than staring at the planet in the telescope. But what do you get from this, Dave?
Well, first and foremost, we need to understand that this planet is about 40 light years away. And essentially, they've named the world LHS 1140b.
Don't even ask me how long it might take to get 40 light years away.
It's a whole mouthful. No, well, I mean, at current rates, with the technology that we are currently using, it would take hundreds of thousands of years to get to this planet.
That's
and
awful.
Here's the thing, though. They're saying in this particular article from the NationalGeographic.com website is that this planet is about 1.4 times wider than Earth.
Really?
And sits in what they call the Goldilocks region, which is essentially a region between it's a region away from the solar sun that's in that system.
The harmful rays.
But that's the thing. It's in a position where that's why they call it Goldilocks. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. It's just right. It's a location where, and this is what scientists are currently using. I personally think it's a little misguided, but this is what scientists are currently using to define their search for life, which is in the Goldilocks region, you have an orbit where liquid water could float on its surface. So this is something that people need to when they're looking into these articles as to how these organizations are looking for life. It's not, a silicon-based life. It's not any other based life. They're looking specifically at life that can exist due to liquid water being able to flow on the surface of a planet. I think it's a little short-sighted. I think it's a little unprofessional. But this is what they're currently using to define their search for habitable planets. And as Joe had mentioned to me off air, a big portion of this search is also reflected in the way that they define and understand the atmospheres.
When you guys use my link below under the free audiobook message, there'll be a link right below that title that says free audiobook. It will take you right here to eStories, where you can get your free audiobook. Whether it's a WWE book that you wanted to read, a sci-fi novel, maybe you want to read some sexy stuff. Whatever it is, you can listen to it in an audiobook form, and you get a free one from the Joe Cronin Show. Just use the link in the description box down below. You may have used other sites before and used up your free audiobook. Well, now you can have another one at eStories. Yeah, and apparently there's a lot of technical stuff that goes into that as far as finding out what's hydrogen, what is atmosphere, and even the greenhouse effects and levels, and they study all this stuff, and that's blows my mind that this place is over 100,000 years away from us travel-wise, but they're able to make all these kind of speculations and prognostications about what could be going on with the atmosphere there. So it's pretty cool. But
actually, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's a great point, because we have to consider this is 40 light years away. Now, in 1 year, light, will travel 300,000 kilometers per second, okay? 300,000 miles per second, I believe. I'm a more metric guy myself, but the bottom line is that the distance that light covers in a year is not more than what one of our chemical drives, or even potentially one of the nuclear space drives that we have available in space. So even though it might take light 40 years to get from there to us here on Earth, it would take a lot longer for our technology to get there. But here's something that a lot of people don't consider, is this information that we're looking at. The light that we're seeing is 40 years old.
Yes. Because
it takes 40 years for that light to get from its original location to us. Think about this then. If there is some sort of runaway climate change or global warming, planetoid warming that's happening on the planet that we're looking at that's 40 light years away, we might be getting wrong information. So even if we had the ability to get over there very quickly, or even send one of these colonial ships, which maybe would have people in cryogenic freezing, or would have multiple generations before they get there, the information that they originally got when they were sent out there may be totally different from when they finally get there. It's very concerning for me, just for the fact that if we're going to start to send out these expeditions out to the stars based on what we're seeing right now with light, well, there's a good chance that we're going to arrive at these locations and find a situation that's totally different from what we were presented when we went on that mission in the first place.
That's really interesting. Yeah, that could happen. That's unbelievable. And that would be, what a waste, what a horrible thing. But you know what, though? I would take it if we can get there.
Potentially what a disaster, dude. That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, the money, the life. Because people may be living life cycles on that ship or whatever travels there. I would assume that if we were going to go there, we'd have to lower that 100,000 years somehow to 20,000 or to 40,000. We couldn't possibly deal with hundreds of thousands. We would never even attempt that. Unless there was some kind of spaceship that we built to last 100,000 years, which just doesn't seem possible. The real important thing that I get out of this, that I've been getting out of all these planets that we've been discovering, the number one thing is we know we have to leave. We know we have to eventually spread around the galaxy. We have to spread to other planets eventually. We really need to do it. It's just a fact. It doesn't matter whether we're at chaos with each other or there's all these problems. This is humanity, and we're going to be like this for a while.
Well, we talked about this the other day. The Earth is overdue for an Earth-level extinction event.
Yeah.
And this comes in the form of planetoid involvement, whether it be an asteroid coming close to us or the changing of, the sun, for example, and its output of energy. And there's a lot of different things that can affect the life on Earth, not just man. And it is our natural strive to move to the stars. It's always been in our veins, it seems to be. We have this desire not to look up to the stars, but to travel there, that desire to know these locations. And although, in my personal opinion, we have more than enough room on this planet for at least 12 billion individuals, in the end, if we spread to anything larger, we have to inevitably look at going out to the stars. And if that's the plan, we need to be prepared properly to ensure that we actually allow for the continuation of the species.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where that we're accelerating at such a rate right now. With the acceleration that we're at, with the amount that we depend on technology and satellites and electricity, and with the fact that we are going to get into an episode, a show about this, solar flares, a solar flare, or a major solar flare, something that could really cook us, and an asteroid and things like that. I mean, you just can't deny these things, that they could happen and will happen. And you also can't deny like disease and other things like that. We talked about eggs in more than one basket. It's been like a theme.
Just exactly what I was going to say, because that's exactly the point. We cannot put all our eggs in one basket.
Yeah, or we just have by default, because this is the planet we grew up on. But we have the ability to start trying to change that now, and they really need to push for it. There can't be a delay. There needs to be a constant moving forward to this, because if there's a disease that wipes out Earth, or a disease that hurts, lots of people, whatever. Well, now there's another planet where that didn't happen, or if an asteroid hits here, well, it didn't happen on the other planet. And, you're just keeping humanity alive and going. If we want to survive that way, then we got to be thinking like that. And the next step to think like that is to figure out how to travel through space.
Because clearly there are planets that may be able to support life as we know it here on Earth. But until we can actually solve the riddles of being able to get across such vast distances of space. And this is what a lot of people don't understand, is that you look on a map and you think, okay, well, Earth is this close to Alpha Centauri, but you really don't realize how far that distance is until you start to look at scale models.
I didn't the last time I tried to talk about it. I don't remember that. My math was way off.
Well, I've heard about the fallout, but moving on. Again, I think what's taken away from this is that we need to solve the issues of space travel prior to being able to decide where we're going to be going as a human species, because despite the fact that there seem to be a lot more habitable planets in this galaxy at a fairly close location to Earth than what people said in the 60s, 70s, and 80s even. And I was an individual that was ridiculed by pointing the math out that inevitably there has to be life on other planets, and there has to be planets that can support life. Now we finally fast forward and caught up to the reality of the situation, and our probes and satellites can detect the fact that these planets exist. It's only inevitable that humanity will not only want to try to get to these planets, but we'll have to address the fact that they're going to have to get there somehow, and they're going to have to get there in a short time, because 40,000 years is not acceptable when it comes to spatial travel.
Right. It's way too much, and I agree with you, and I hope we solve it soon. In fact, perhaps one of our next episodes coming up will be a detailed sort of breakdown of what is being worked on right now, or the theories of space travel that would be, that would give us that capability. Because right now, we're not even close. But I'm sure there's a lot of theories out there, and there's a lot of suggestions, and we're going to look them up, and we're going to try to find out. Maybe we can come up with the top 10 or so possible ways we could travel through space, or theories of space travel.
I love that.
Yeah, you salivating now, right? I am.
I'm absolutely salivating.
Well, I agree. Let's do that. That will be me and Dave will go to work on that for the next episode, and we will go through that, and we'll break down sort of these ideas and what's really possible and what could not be possible. And there's most likely the answer is that the way to travel through space in that amount of time hasn't been discovered yet. That's the most reasonable thing to think.
Or has it?
Or has it? Yeah, exactly. Thank you guys for listening.
This is, after all, Final Frontier News.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. I do want to say, if you don't want to support us on patreon.com/Final Frontier News, a great way to support us is by going and checking out our sponsors. I put them in the links in the description box down below. We have a free ebook for you guys. From audiobooks, e-stories, free ebook. So if you guys like listening to audiobooks, we have a free one for you. And guess what? When you go try the free book, we get credit for you just going over there and downloading your free book. So if you are someone that doesn't have money or doesn't want to support us monthly on patreon.com/Final Frontier News, well, no big deal, because if you just click on our sponsor link below and download a free ebook, we get credit for that. So check out e-stories. It's in the link in the description box down below.
I just want to quickly add on to that, is that if you're wondering what kind of books you might be able to download, or even something that, I don't know, you're looking for something to read, as I've been contacted several times on Twitter about, feel free to hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Devious Dave Rose. Joe is at Joe Cronin JCS, and just ask us what books might fit your interest. And I could definitely, I'm Mr. Books, I can definitely provide you with a great list of audio books that you might enjoy listening to, and I'm sure that Joe could as well. Especially here with Final Frontier News, there's so much information that's available at our fingertips, and we live in an age of unprecedented technology. So I think you might as well take opportunity with that. Subscribe to eStories, and if you need some suggestions on what books you should download, let us know.
You know what's weird, too? The first audiobook I ever listened to was Halo, like the Halo book series for the video game. So it's really weird. It was one of the first audiobooks I ever heard. It was Halo Reach or something like that. I forget what it was now, but it was because it was like 7 years ago. But I listened to that old book. But yeah, you guys get a free book. So click the link. And if you're not into audiobooks, there's also a link for Gamefly. Remember Gamefly? A lot of people... I actually stopped using it because too many people were using it, and you could never get a game. But now that it's dropped, it's like nowhere near where it was. It's like cut in half. So like if you want a game, you can actually a new game comes out and you don't want to buy it, you can rent it from Gamefly and have it that day at your door, renting it. So it's like whatever it is, $9.99 a month or something. You get 2 games. You just return them in the mail. You can rent another one and just keep it going. It's awesome. Gamefly. There's a link for that in the description box down below, too, if you guys want to sign up with Gamefly. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed Final Frontier News. Leave comments down below. Give us some feedback. We've sort of returned here to Final Frontier News after a while. So if you're enjoying it, if you're happy we're back, if you have suggestions, please leave it in the comments below. And if you really want to get involved and get your hands in this thing, head over to Patreon. The link is in the description as well, and give us some suggestions. And if you are an expert, or say maybe you even are knowledgeable on a topic that the Mandela effect, you're very, very familiar with that. You know so much about the Mandela effect. You want to talk more about it. Well, go on to Patreon, support us with the monthly deal, and send us a message and say you want to do the Mandela effect, and have me and Dave and you can come on the show and give us your knowledge or your opinion on the Mandela effect, and we'll do a whole show out of it. So we'll get interactive that way with you. Thanks for listening again, and guys, we'll see you in the next episode. When you guys use my link below under the free audiobook message, there'll be a link right below that title that says free audiobook. It will take you right here to eStories, where you can get your free audiobook. Whether it's a WWE book that you wanted to read, a sci-fi novel, maybe you want to read some sexy stuff, whatever it is, you can listen to it in an audiobook form, and you get a free one from The Joe Cronin Show. Just use the link in the description box down below. You may have used other sites before and used up your free audiobook. Well, now you can have another one at eStories.
listening to Final Frontier News.